Hi, welcome to Bruce's Nutrition and Wellness Tips. How much water do you need in order to be properly hydrated and feel the best you can be? So it's not as simple as saying everyone requires 6 to 8 glasses of water, although that's a good common recommendation. It really comes down to your physical body size, your activity level, how much you perspire. So for example, a woman who's 5'1", 115 pounds would not require the same amount of water as a man 6'5", 250. That's logical, yet many people just generalize because it's easy for good general discussion to say that everybody requires the same amount of water. Also, how much you perspire is very important. If you're a person that sweats a lot, especially during exercise, you'll need to recover with more hydration, more water. If you're someone who doesn't perspire very much, you might even have low thirst mechanism, you won't need as much water. The bigger point that I discuss with clients, and you need to be mindful of, how much prepackaged, dehydrated food, processed food do you eat on a daily basis? Those foods do not contain very much, if any, water at all. The more whole foods you consume, fresh fruits and vegetables, meat, dairy, whole grains, properly prepared items have more biological water, especially fresh fruits and vegetables. Then, when you consume these high quality foods, you do not require as much water on a daily basis. This is the way nature intended. People in the olden days did not walk around with 2 water bottles attached to their body on a holster, consuming every 20 minutes. It isn't an unhealthy plan to have more water, to have a water bottle with you, especially in modern times when we work inside all the time and we do eat more processed, prepared foods. So 50 pounds per body weight, I would expect a person to consume roughly 32 ounces. So in metric, for every 23 kilograms, that's about a liter of water. If you want to confuse, like we do here in Canada, every 50 pounds of body weight, 1 liter. So you can confuse the empirical and metric, get them all mixed up. Bottom line is, drinking enough water per pound of body weight is important, plus the amount of perspiration, the amount of activity that you do. Also, your environment is very important. If it's really cold out, minus 35 in the northern US or in Canada, most people are not going right to the fridge to drink ice cold glasses of water. They want more warming things such as herbal tea or room temperature water. If you have a furnace and your house is really dry, you're not keeping the humidity in balance, people will need to be mindful and drink the appropriate amount of water. Even though it's cold outside, you have to, and your thirst mechanism is low, you definitely want to keep your hydration up. Conversely, if you're in the southern states and it's very hot, you would definitely need to drink more water. Even here in Canada, in the summertime, in various areas, it can be 35 degrees, up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So water is something that you always want to be mindful of, and your thirst mechanism will kick in. So that's something you want to be responsive to, is pay attention to your thirst mechanism. One thing, people that are chronically dehydrated often confuse their thirst mechanism for hunger. So if you're always hungry, start to consume more quality water on a consistent basis throughout the day, and you'll find your hunger typically dissipates. It's more that you're dehydrated. If you truly are hungry, then have some food, that's fine. To drink water consistently throughout the day is important. If you want to think of your body like a dry sponge, if you were to pour a whole bunch of water on a dry sponge, it will spill over. Conversely, if you were to take a dry sponge and gently pour water into it, it will inflate the sponge, and the sponge actually holds the water more efficiently. So think of your hydration like that. You'd rather be hydrated by consuming the appropriate amount of fluids and obviously water-containing foods evenly throughout the day, so that you don't get to the end of the day and say, wow, I didn't have any fluids, and you drink a liter of water. all in one shot. Your body cannot absorb that much water in one sitting, and you will be peeing a lot more frequently. On the topic of frequent urination, drinking warmer water and drinking water consistently throughout the day will allow you to hydrate rather than just irrigate. Irrigation meaning you're just flushing your body with water and not really absorbing it at the cellular level. Another thing you can do, especially for people who tend to be cold extremities, what they call hypotonic or hypotensive, people that need a little bit more warmth, if you add a pinch of Himalayan or Celtic, the gray sea salt, there's different types of salt. You want the salts that contain roughly 70 to 100 trace minerals. If you sprinkle just a little bit of that salt for every liter of water, for every 32 ounces, your body will absorb the water more effectively because your body type requires more of the minerals to get the water into the cells, more so than it needs just pure ongoing hydration. So water is something, especially in the summertime, where people find they're consuming a ton of water and they just peeing all the time. That type of body chemistry usually needs a little bit more salt, quality salt. It's another important thing to think about. So in summary, drink the amount of water that's appropriate for you for your pound of body weight. You can decide how much you perspire, how much you exercise, and go with your thirst mechanism. And I look forward to seeing you next time.